All right then, Liverpool 2, Aston Villa 0. Liverpool finally back to winning ways, and I think mainly because of the choice of selection of the team, and also I think we were probably due for a bounce back pretty soon. Obviously played a lot of games away from home as well. The result in the midweek, playing the kids, didn't really count in my eyes either. So I think with all the away games that we played in the Premier League, coming back to Anfield and having all the first team players rested for a week, seemed like we were going to have a pretty good reaction, and we did get that result. Finally got a clean sheet, although Aston Villa did have quite a few good chances, and we could have conceded again in the first 5 minutes with that Morgan Rogers chance that hit the post. But overall, a lot better from Liverpool. I think just looking a lot more cohesive, obviously playing only one or two of the new signings in the team and keeping the system and the personnel from last season as the starting lineup. I think it really helps, to be honest. We looked a lot more cohesive, a lot more, I would say, able to cope in the midfield areas, looking just a lot more balanced, and not only balanced, but also actually looking quite aggressive and quite direct. I thought the forwards were really good. Ekitike looked really solid and sharp. Mo Salah looking a lot more sharp than he has been, finally getting back to his best, I would say. Definitely much more like him, lots more dribbling, lots more taking people on, and contributing a lot more. Actually got a few, did he get an assist? Obviously he got his goal from that mistake because he was well positioned to take advantage. But also, I would say, just in general, his general play, his link up, he'd had a few of those legendary crosses to and from Gakpo that we saw last season. Obviously, last season we did have those lovely link ups between the front three. That was such a big part of the reason that Salah did so well. Getting all those balls in from Gakpo, those nice little balls where he plays it in behind the back four. And Salah was also playing those balls to him as well. But overall, just looking a lot more cohesive and a lot more solid. Still looking like we do look a little bit lightweight at the back at the minute. But I think Robertson looked very, very assured and much less frantic than Kirkus has been looking. And in general, I think reverting back to the team that did so well last season, apart from Ekitike, and obviously Mamardashvili's playing because Alisson's injured. But apart from that, we would basically be playing an unchanged team from last season, apart from Trent as well, maybe playing instead of Bradley. But overall, just looking a lot more assured, a lot more confident, looking like all the link up and just in general, the general play just looking a lot more sharp and a lot more cohesive. And I think that really is down to the personnel that he chose. Obviously, choosing to drop Kirkes was obviously a big call, and also dropping Wirtz a big call. But I think when you're struggling for form and you're looking for a way to just get some cohesion and a bit of solidity and rigidity back in the team, I didn't think he could go far amiss from just reverting back to the team that played last season for a few games. Obviously, we did have a few games, I think was it against United, where we did play a very, very similar lineup and didn't get the result. But I do think we were very unlucky in some of our previous games in terms of the amount of chances we created and the goals that we didn't score. That Man United game didn't Gakpo hit the post like 3 times. So we could have easily had 4 or 5 goals against Man United. I think we were just unlucky. You know, when you're going through a bad vein of form and you just can't score a goal to save your life, even though you're creating chances. And I really felt like, considering the way, obviously everyone has been thinking that we're absolutely finished and washed, I didn't think, as I've been saying for weeks now, that we've been that far away from getting wins. Like I said, every game that we lost this season, apart from obviously the Crystal Palace one in the week, which I don't really count because it was just the kids basically, we've lost pretty much every game by just 1 goal. And I think there could have been plenty of swing points in those matches where we could have scored a goal or they could have missed a goal that could have changed the outcome. So we've gone through a pretty unfortunate series of results. But I think this Villa win is definitely a statement. Coming back to Anfield, we look really good at pressing up high up the pitch, looking aggressive, looking like it was a bit more difficult to play through us. A bit more legs in the midfield. Szoboszlai is just absolutely amazing, by the way. Definitely the MVP of this season so far. Absolutely amazing. Just a complete workhorse. He's very classy on the ball. He's just a really good all-rounder. Very Gerrard-esque, you could say, in terms of the way that he works for the team. He just looks like absolutely perfect in that midfield role for pressing, but also for defending. He gets around people. He's always running. And I just think that McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai midfield just looks so well balanced. You'd be hard-pressed to take someone out of that, I think. Every time that we do, we just look a little bit unbalanced in one way or another. I just think they all complement each other so well in terms of what they do. They're just really, really good. Got all-round good running, good tackling, good play on the ball. And just in general, they really complement the forwards as well, being able to get the ball up to them all the time. Gakpo, I thought, looked good for that match as well. Salah, as I said, looked back to his best in terms of his actual play in and around the ball. Looking like he was a lot more sharp, a lot more, linking up with players. Looked like his touch was back. And just in general, a lot of the players just looking like that kind of ebb in form that we've seen has really come back from the brink of looking like they were really, really out of sorts. I thought Konate was a lot better as well. He's obviously been someone that I've criticised this season quite a lot because, in fairness, I think he's probably cost us about a goal a game. But in fairness, we looked a lot more solid at the back. I think Bradley and Robertson also looked really, really good. A lot more comfortable than we have looked in terms of back four over the past few weeks, especially. And just conceding a lot less silly chances, not giving the ball away cheaply, looking after the ball a lot better in the midfield areas, and having quite a lot of good counter-attacks as well. Basically, just in general, looking a lot more like a Liverpool performance. And I think a really, really good result to take into the midweek against Real Madrid. And then obviously we've got Man City on Sunday as well, which is going to be an interesting one. Man City not at their best at the minute, so definitely a team that we could beat. And I just think Liverpool, it's probably been coming in my opinion in terms of the results. Obviously people can complain about the performances not looking that easy on the eye, but the reality is that Liverpool haven't been that far away from getting results this season. Obviously pretty much every single game has been decided by a goal one way or the other, and it looks like Liverpool getting back to winning ways, a nice clean sheet, 2-0, and looked pretty comfortable in the game. I never really felt like the momentum was going to swing back against us, if I'm honest. And Aston Villa have been playing well recently. Aston Villa are on my dad's team, so I watched the games with him. And they've looked really good recently after a poor start to the season. So they're no slouches. And I think it was definitely a good statement to show that we're still in it. Only about 7 points away from the top spot in the Premier League. And just keep in touch going into Christmas is probably going to be a good thing. And then we'll see how other teams perform going into that period. But overall, it's going to be interesting. I think Liverpool definitely got a lot more to give. And I think as the season goes on, as I've been saying for a long time now, once we start to bed those new players in a bit more, get them a bit more confidence, get them a bit more used to the system and how Arne Slot wants them to play, you can start introducing the Kirkeses and the Wirtzes back into the team. But I think it's really important to get that rigidity and that solidity in the lineup. And I think considering how well basically this team, apart from the exception of Ekitike and Alisson, who's out, basically won the league pretty much solely with this lineup. A few changes here and there. Obviously, some of the forwards are a little bit different, but overall, I would say this is the team, obviously, that won the Premier League last season, and you could see why in the performance today. Very, very solid, looking good, and also good at playing good football, creating lots of chances, and overall just looking a lot more like a Liverpool performance. So definitely going to be interesting to see how we do going forward, but I think Liverpool looking like they're definitely coming back towards the kind of performances that you would expect, considering the great players that we do have. It's going to be interesting to see if we can get Wirtz into this team. In my opinion, I think he has to play off the left in the position that Gakpo's been playing. But Gakpo has been playing really well. In fairness, I think Slot's been persevering with him, even though he doesn't look that great on the eye, and I think a lot of people do criticise him for that. I think he does create a lot of chances, and his raw stats in terms of chances created and also big chances scored or missed, I think he definitely does contribute a lot to that forward line. So it's going to be interesting to see if we can get some of these new players into the team. Obviously, Isak's injured at the minute. He's still got to come back. I think it's got to be either him or Ekitike, to be honest, hasn't it? Unless we play Ekitike on the left and Isak up front. But I think they're going to be playing one or the other at the minute, to be honest. Isak being injured makes that an easy decision at the minute. And also, I think the final thing I wanted to talk about was Gravenberch. We just look like such a better team with him in the lineup. I think he's been a big miss for us over the past week or so with that little injury that he had. But great to see him back. He looks just always so comfortable on the ball. I love the way that he takes the ball and turns and runs through the lines. He's just such a good foil for McAllister and Szoboszlai. They all just work so well together. It really is a nice balance in there. And I think whenever you take one of them out, you really do see it in terms of the team's performance. So it's going to be interesting to see how we do going forward. But I think just playing everyone in their positions and just playing the team from last season, apart from Ekitike, really worked out for us against Villa. And we're going to see how we do against Real Madrid. As always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Do you think Liverpool are back? And I'll catch you in the next video. Cheers.